Hey, what's up guys, Lord Civic here, and today we're going to be doing another XG32UCWMG video. Funnily enough, this is actually going to be the last video that I shoot with the loaner unit that ASUS sent out to me. Thank you again, ASUS, so much. I've had such a blast testing out this monitor over the past month, and it is really a beauty, and I'm going to be sad when it's gone until I buy my own, which I am going to be getting one myself because it's fantastic. But today we're going to be comparing it to the LG GX9 or LG 45GX950A, the world's first 5K 2K ultrawide OLED monitor. In my honest opinion, this is the king of gaming ultrawide monitors, and it's funny, when I got the XG32UCWMG, I was thinking, hey, everybody's gonna be like, how's this compared to PG? Lord Civic, how's this? How's that? I'm telling you, I think I've gotten like 5 to 10 times more comments about, hey, Lord Civic, how's the UCWMG versus the LG GX9? And I have been covering it very extensively over the channel, so it kind of makes sense. But like, you know, as I was kind of thinking about it more so myself, they even have a little bit more relation than the PG and the LG GX9. The CWMG have more in comparison than the PG and this one. And it's because, you know, they're both WOLED, actually. One is a matte glossy, not matte glossy, it's a matte display, and then the other is the true black glossy. So they're literally on the other sides of the spectrum, but a lot of people, you know, do not want to have multiple monitors, or some people do, but they don't have the space to do it. And, you know, these are two, if not the best OLED monitors that you can get on the market today. Or CWMG is not available just yet, but it will be later this month in the US anyway. So regardless, I wanted to talk about all the aspects of these monitors. Again, thank you so much to ASUS for sending me out this monitor review. I've had an absolute blast with it. Crazy opportunity, and over the past month, I have loved it. And, you know, as somebody that said the LG GX9, I think I can do a good job of comparing them. So in addition to the stuff that I compare in today's video, because it's going to be kind of similar to the PG one, because there's only some things that are a little bit different. If I don't answer any specific questions that you guys have, please make sure to put them in the comment section below. With saying that, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's hop right in. So, just like always in these comparison videos, the first thing that we usually talk about is the display type and also the panel type. Now, first and foremost, these are both WOLED displays. That means they are the LG manufactured white sub-pixel displays that, you know, come on WOLEDs. And these are QD-OLEDs, so you're not going to get those crazy poppy colors, but you get a very much increase in brightness. And this type of displays are usually made with all lighting conditions in taking account all lighting conditions. Now, with that said, they are both WOLED, you know, both manufactured by LG, but the panel type itself, true black glossy versus matte, puts on basically total different sides of the spectrum. One is a monitor that is going to pick up like no reflections, that is downright perfect for basically any lighting condition. And you're, you know, even if, let's say, there's like sunlight coming on, you're just going to see like a hazed like ball or haze like lighting. Even with the umbrella light, you can't even really, I mean, you can see it at the top of the screen, but it's like, you know, it's very subtle. Now, on the other hand, the XG32UCWMG is going to pick up basically every reflection. I have it pivoted right here on my desk. You can see right behind me, I have the intergalactic GIF and all my Liam Lee lights and all this stuff in my computer. You can see literally the lighting reflections showing off of the screen here, and it's reflecting off of this end too, but you can't see it on the LG because it's a matte display. Now, with that taken into account, you get bonuses and negatives with both displays. Now, the ASUS is going to pick up reflections very easily, like I stated. In a lot of cases, if you set the light conditions just right, you can really kind of negate the negatives that come with that. Even to the point where sometimes I'll be like streaming or have lights on it, and like this arc light that's like right above my head, it's honestly not even bothersome. And it's like you have to kind of take it into account, but it can be dealt with. It's really not that much of an issue. Now, the LG is really kind of like the, other than if it's like direct sunlight, even with the umbrella light, none of the lights is going to be bothersome. That's really the thing. But with that said, with the LG, you get a nice crisp image quality, but the matte display almost feels like there's a haze over the monitor. Now, until I got the XG, because even with the PG, it wasn't really like so much of a game changer because it was semi-glossy. But like what I spoke about literally in my PG32UCM versus XG32UCWMG video is that the True Black Glossy display almost has this look of like you're literally looking almost at the subpixels, like there's no screen. It's just like you're looking at a liquid display. And as somebody who's been using it for a month, it's really crazy because I've become accustomed to this just amazing level of quality of image. And then going back to the LG, you know, after a month, because I mean, I've had to sit on my desk, or it's been off my desk, it's been vice versa, or just, you know, changing off. But like now coming back to it as I'm literally about to send the UCWMG back, it's like a huge haze over it. And the haze legitimately, like I thought at first that it kind of like muted colors, or that's why a lot of people don't like my picture settings, but I kind of had to dial in the settings in a way to kind of like simulate what I find on like the PG32UCM or even the UCWMG. But also there's almost a hit on the picture quality. And it's like, as I said, you're not literally looking at the sub-pixel surface. There's literally like a filter over it. And I've seen some people like online take the matte display off their things, or I don't know. I'm pretty sure that would definitely void the warranty, but like it's really got me thinking like this is really a really good monitor, but like legitimately what I stated in my LG GX9 video is it's the best ultra-wide monitor, but there's just a but. Like it legitimately, I love it. The vertical height, the ridiculous amount of pixels across the display, and then also, you know, matte, it's kind of like hit or miss, because I understand with the whole curvature and like everybody having specific lighting, there's specific reasons on why you would want to have the matte display. But like I would love, I would love if even if the curve wasn't as aggressive, which I love the curve on this monitor, I stated, but I would love an option for either LG, ASUS, Samsung, Alienware, any company to make a monitor with the same vertical height, but have, I mean, I would love a true black glossy display on it, but like, you know, you can't ask for the golden goose immediately. I would even like a semi-glossy or whatever option of this monitor because it's so beautiful and it legitimately feels like it's being held back from its full potential. But that's what LG is doing. They're not holding back from its full potential, but that's what LG does with their monitors. Like they make matte display monitors, and you know, they're literally like some of the best of the best when it comes to TVs. Like legitimately, if you want a gaming OLED TV, LG is the best. Sony might be better when it comes to picture quality and color accuracy and the vibrancy of color, but when it comes to brightness, input lag, and all those different aspects, LG is like supreme. And it really like sucks to see something like the UCWMG right here in its true black glossy form just be downright amazing. And it's not only picture quality, but also it being a WOLED, the colors still pop. They're not compared to like, say, like the PG32UCM, as I stated in the previous video. In games like The Last of Us, Cyberpunk, Expedition 33, those games just look unbelievable because of their level of color and how they produce and different stuff. But games like Dead Space, Resident Evil 2 with the Reno DX mod, Hollow Knight with the Reno DX mod, and so many other games that utilize black levels, they look amazing on this display. But like that haze of kind of like making the black levels almost look gray, just like really, like using this display has legitimately opened my eyes to like what the peak of display technology can look like. And you know, I would love a GX9 True Black Glossy. A LG GX9 True Black Glossy OLED would be mind blowing. A True Black Glossy ultra wide QD-OLED, oh my god, my mind just flying of like what would this combination of this look like, and it's like, let's say this is the last point I'm gonna make with this, but like let's say a WOLED option is getting made, the black levels and everything is going, and a True Black Glossy WOLED's going to be. Brightness levels, everything's going to be fantastic. But then on the other end of the spectrum, if we get a true black glossy QD-OLED ultra wide monitor, you would then have the punchy colors, and it's like you kind of like, but you wouldn't get the brightness level that you would on a WOLED. It's like you kind of got to choose your poison and your elixir, and it's like, it's really cool that it's really cool, and I'm glad that these monitors are being made, but like, as I'm testing out all these different monitors, my mind's really spiraling of like what would truly be the absolute best monitor ever when it comes to ultra wide or even a 16:9. So the next thing we're going to talk about is aspect ratio, colors, and brightness. So this is what I feel like a lot of you guys have been like curious about comparing these monitors, and you see how beautiful the UCWMG is, but you're like, hey Lord Civic, we've seen you raving about the UCWMG. We understand it's a beautiful monitor. We see it with our own eyes. Is it better than the LG GX9? And that's a tough question. I really feel like that's a tough question, because it doesn't matter how beautiful the UCWMG is. Like, it legitimately, to me, is probably the best gaming display that I've ever owned. That's a crazy statement to make. Not the best gaming, okay, let me take back that statement. It's the best gaming display I have ever seen with my own eyes when it comes to picture quality and the overall expectation of what I expect from an OLED display. But it's not an ultra wide. And that really is the disconnect that makes them kind of really, really hard to compare them. And even when I was comparing the PG32UCWM versus the LG GX9, I guess I wasn't even really thinking about this fact, because like, to me, the LG GX9 is a better display than the PG32UCM. I just like it more as a display. Overall, like, if I had to play with one display, it would be the LG GX9. Ideally, I like playing my competitive games at 4K 240Hz and don't really want to play at 1080p 330Hz on a 45-inch display. But if I had to own one display, it would be the LG GX9 over the PG32UCM. Now, when it comes to the UCWMG, a monitor that I like more than the PG32UCM, that's where I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. And like, legitimately, I can't pick. Like, I know it's not what you guys want to hear, but I legitimately can't pick if I had to own one display. They're both really freaking amazing. But it's just that the UCWMG cannot create and do the level of immersion that the LG GX9 has. Like, there's no other display that I've ever played on that is more immersive. That's just it. The height, honestly, if the height wasn't as high, I wouldn't love it as much. If the curvature wasn't as aggressive, I wouldn't love it as much. If the monitor wasn't exactly 45 inches, I wouldn't like it as much. The LG GX9 does so much freaking right, but the only literal, there's two things. I wish the refresh rate was higher, but I understand with like the current limitation in technology, even with the 5090 being able to push 11 million pixels is like ridiculous. But I wish it was, sorry, I said I wish it was, this is the third time I'm saying it, but I want it to be glossy of some kind, semi-glossy. I would love a QD variant. I would love a true black glossy variant of it. And it's just, you're taking the drop off of like, you know, the image quality and the true black glossy nature, because the true black glossy nature, it legitimately is the most beautiful panel type that I've ever seen on an OLED monitor. But it's just not. It's just, no matter how many ways you cut it and slice it up, the UCWMG is just not as immersive. There's just no other display. Even my Sony A95L, which is a 77-inch TV, it's just not as immersive. The culmination of the 45 inches, the curvature, and the added vertical height just creates this unbelievable experience of immersion that, you know, games like Red Dead Redemption will look better on the UCWMG. I legitimately think this is the best display I've ever seen Red Dead Redemption on, even compared to my Sony A95L, but then again, I can get brighter. But yeah, no, like the sub-pixel technology and then also the true black glossy nature just creates this unbelievable image of just beauty. But like, if you want to be fully immersed and engrossed and have the entire view of your screen taken up, like it's really hard to be like, yeah, the picture quality is so good, but I'm gonna lose out on that 21:9 aspect ratio and 45 inches and the curvature and stuff like that. It's like it's too hard. It's too hard. And I know you guys don't want to hear it, but it legitimately is like too hard to pick. And it's really to the point where instead of saying like one is better than the other, I legitimately think it's like, what's the most important to you? Do you want the most immersive gaming experience possible with a little hit in image quality, and then also the screen not being as glossy and like clean and stuff like that? Because like also the black levels and stuff aren't gonna look as good on a matte display. Nevertheless, they don't look as good on the PG32UCM. They look godlike on the ASUS, but like it's like you gotta just like pick your poison. That's what I'm saying. But it's so immersive, but it's so beautiful, but it's so immersive. It's really hard to choose the two, honestly. When it comes to brightness, they are very similar. They're both 1300 nits. Now, I feel like the ASUS feels brighter because, as I said, there's no like haze over the screen. And I've seen a lot of my viewers that like have gotten the LG G9 were saying that, hey, it's not bright enough for me, and then they were like, oh, but there's no other monitor. Like, okay, here, this is a good point to make. There's been like, I think I have like 2 or 3 viewers that have literally got the LG G9, complained about a lot of its shortcomings, said how great the monitor was, and they were just like, oh no, I'm just gonna get this out, something else. They got the other monitor, and then they were like, oh, you know what, Lord Civic, I reordered the LG G9 again. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but there's nothing else that is able to do what it can right now in this time. And that's why I'm saying that it'll be really cool when we get other monitors, you know, a monitor like this in a true black glossy format, or a monitor like this in a QD semi-glossy or QD true black glossy. It's just like, yeah, I legitimately can't choose between the two. I love the two, but like I can't choose between the two. They're really beautiful. Now, when it comes to colors, this is another thing. We're literally right here, you can see, and I'm looking at the monitors right now. The LG G9 looks beautiful. The colors are vibrant, it's poppy, and all that different stuff. But it looks like you're looking at a screen, because it is. I mean, they're both screens, but the ASUS UCWMG is able to kind of like circumvent that with the true black glossy nature. And one thing that I've highlighted, this is the, what, 4th, 5th, 6th time that I've spoken about it, the pixels legitimately look like they're coming off the screen, and that also carries over to the colors. The colors literally pop in a way because of the true black glossy nature that, you know, they're not as punchy as, say, a QD-OLED, but they almost have this lifelike liquid nature to them that, you know, makes it, in my honest opinion, one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. The only thing that I would say just absolutely slaughters it when it comes to color and stuff like that, it's not the PG32CM, which it does beat it, but the Sony A95L, which is in a category of its own, because, you know, the way Sony does their TVs and all that different stuff like that. Last but not least, we are going to talk about the gaming experience in a deeper dive into immersion versus picture quality and image quality and true black glossy nature. So, which monitor offers the better gaming experience? I know it's not what you guys want to hear, but I can't answer that question. It really is depending on what is the most important thing to you. I have never been at a standstill so much that I have with any two pieces of technology when comparing them, because, you know, I don't think either of them are perfect. I believe I stated in my LG G9 video, it is the best gaming ultrawide monitor ever, but, and then in my XG32UCWMG, I believe I gave the monitor like a 9.5. And it's because, you know, there's not really ever any perfect display. At the time, I did give the Sony A95L a perfect score. I think it was the first piece of technology I ever gave a perfect score, but that was at that point in time when it came out. Compared to today's standards, it's not the brightest display, it does not have the lowest input lag, but I mean, I still feel like it's the king when it comes to picture quality and color vibrancy and color accuracy and stuff. But that further ties into the point that I was kind of making earlier in this video, is that there's no display that does everything perfectly. Now, if we had, let's say hypothetically, a ultra wide monitor that is capable of doing what this does right here, and is able to have 240 hertz, and then also have another mode that allows it to do 1440p and in like 360 hertz or 400 or 500 hertz mode, and then is also true black glossy WOLED or true black glossy QD-OLED or even semi-glossy QD-OLED or whatever. That would be close to perfect, but then in that vein, you know, it's taking up a lot of real estate on your desk, and it's like, this is another point that I'm making. It's really what monitor is specifically perfect for you. I can have 3 of these monitors on my desk. I can only have 2 of these monitors on this desk. I can push this monitor somewhat easy, not really that easy. 4K 240 hertz is still ridiculously hard to push. This monitor is the hardest monitor I've ever had to push with anything, okay? I cannot get XG32 max settings with my 5090-9950X3D, 9100 Samsung Pro, 96 gigabytes of RAM, all that, and still play with DLAA max settings and get above 60 FPS in a game like this. This, on the other hand, can get like 80, 90 with DLAA, and that really kind of further ties into the point of like, what is the most important aspect of gaming for you? Do you want the most immersive gaming experience that you can find on the market? That's the LG GX9. But in that same vein, you have to have the hardware to push it. Same thing applies to this. You still require a ridiculous amount of hardware to push 4K 240 hertz. I don't think, other than like maybe Overwatch in like other competitive games, or say something like Ori or Hollow Knight or whatever, I'm not pushing 240 hertz. Nevertheless, I'm not pushing 165 hertz on this monitor either. And it's like, again and again, all of these variables you have to take into account, because, you know, I can just say, like, blank statement, okay, I want the most immersive gaming experience that's available in the market. Okay, random viewer, I recommend the LG GX9 to you. What's your build? Oh, I got a 4080 and a i9 13900K. Okay, you are going to have a very rough time, even with DLSS performance or even multi-frame gen in some titles, because of VRAM limitations or all the other excuses and stuff like that. Hey, the XG32UCWMG might be the better display for you, but I want my ultra-wide. Okay, then I would recommend for you to get the 1440p variant of it, but it doesn't have as high nits. And yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's like your mind's like trying to take all these variables into account and pick and choose what's the specific monitor, and it's really not just like a point blank thing of like, hey, this is the best, because it's not that. It's what's the best specifically for you. Now, if I had to ask myself what was like, okay, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, okay, Lord Civic, you literally have done nothing in this video. Like, you've stated all these points, well, not nothing, because I've stated a lot of points, and I've kind of explained why I specifically feel about that way. But like, legitimately, if I had to pick a single monitor to have and, you know, use explicitly just for everything that I use, which is video editing, gaming, streaming, all those different aspects, when taking all of those variables into account, the UCWMG would be more applicable to what I do. Yes, I would be using out a lot of real estate when doing video editing and all those different stuff, but I'm going to get a literal more accurate image when I'm doing all the specific stuff that I'm going to need to do. It's also not as taxing, so I'm not going to have to worry about, you know, oh man, can I get this game to run above 60 FPS in DLAA? And, you know, the image quality is superb. But on the other hand, I'm losing out on the most immersive gaming monitor that I've ever owned. And, you know, I love it. I love both the monitors, like, very, very much. They both are able to give me an experience unlike anything else that I've ever experienced on another display. And the point is with this whole video is there's just not one single best monitor. I continue to iterate that with all my videos, and like, you know, I say the UCWMG is the best OLED monitor ever, and that's because of something that I spoke about in my PG32UCDM versus the UCWMG video. And that is, to me, the most important aspect of an OLED monitor is its ability to utilize the feature that, you know, every single pixel on the screen runs individually, and that is the black levels. Playing games like Dead Space, Resident Evil 2 with the Reno DX, Hollow Knight, and all these other games, whether you have to use Reno DX or not, that have like these insane black levels and just performance the way it looks, it's just unbelievable on the screen. Legitimately unbelievable. Nevertheless, talking about the picture quality and also the way the colors and stuff pop on this display, especially compared to LG GX9, it creates just a better overall, better looking monitor when it comes to, you know, aesthetic and the way that it looks and the liquid pixel technology, all those different aspects. But then again, on the LG GX9, you are playing with a monitor that basically takes up your entire field of view. It's 11 million pixels, all that's right in front of you. It's beautiful, okay? It's legitimately beautiful. It's ridiculously hard to run. You need legitimately a NASA PC to be able to run it at its full peak potential because, okay, let's say you get it, right? You have a 5070 Ti. Yeah, you can push the monitor, but with your limitation in VRAM and stuff, you're not going to be able to really bring out the best aspects of the monitor compared to, you might be able to bring out more of its potential on the UCWMG versus the LG GX9. And again and again, it's just, it's too hard to choose like one single one. If I had like, you know, I don't think I could say had the thingy to my head. I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, but if I did have the thingy to my head, I would pick the UCWMG. Like it's just, it fits more specifically with my needs of what I want. But like as somebody that's been getting ultra-wide monitors since like 2016, that's why I don't have a single monitor. I mean, not have a single monitor. That's why I don't have only one monitor, because it's just not possible for one monitor to fit all my specific needs. But it really depends in finalization, because I have to, you know, end this video at some point. In finalization, really, I say pick the monitor depending on not only the hardware that you have, but what specifically is the most important aspect of gaming to you. Do you want the absolute best image, the monitor to just look downright beautiful? And let me just say, the LG X9 is still a beautiful display, but if you want the absolute most beautiful, aesthetically pleasing display, UCWMG. If you want the most immersive display, you want to get engrossed in games like The Witcher, Red Dead Redemption, Cyberpunk, and play in this unbelievable field of view and immersion that legitimately feels like you're playing on a VR headset, and it also looks downright beautiful, then you go to LG GX9. Okay, anyway, that was a lot of yapping. Regardless, thank you again so much to ASUS for sending out the UCWMG for me to review. I have had an absolute blast reviewing it. I'm really sad that I have to send it back tomorrow, to be honest. This is, as I said, my favorite OLED monitor I've ever owned. And, you know, both of these are very beautiful displays. If there's any specific questions that I didn't really cover in this video because I was just going from point to point, please let me know in the the comment section below what your question is or how I can help you. Regardless, like always, thank you guys so much for watching, all the support. It really, 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 really means the world to me. Regardless, thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button, and have a great day.